Good evening. Good evening. Hope everybody is doing well. I cannot read this writing. It's small and I'm kind of far away from it. How's everybody doing? I pray that everybody is safe and that everybody is doing well. I pray that you're living with a sense of peace and rest even in a chaotic time like this. If this is your first time here, I'm R.C. Blakes, and I'm a pastor, I'm an author, I'm a teacher, and I'm a man, and I have a lot of thoughts and opinions, and I like to share them. I'm no therapist. I'm no, let me see if I can fix this here just a little bit. I'm no therapist. I'm no psychologist. I'm no licensed counselor. I'm just a man with some experiences, and I like to share my thoughts on certain things. And so one of the things that is dear to my heart, and it's really a divine mission that God has given me, and that is to speak into the lives of generations of women from a big brother, fatherly perspective sometimes, and just from the perspective of a man that really cares. I'm married to a wonderful woman by the name of Lisa Blakes. I'm a faithful husband. I love my wife. And she and I together spend most of our time empowering generations of women. And we do that together because it's a mission that God really gave to the two of us. And so you'll hear me speaking a lot to the issues surrounding women. It's because God gave me that mission and it's dear to my heart. And we're touching women all around the world. And so tonight, just for a few minutes, and this is inspired by, I was teaching from my new book, Kingology, which is available now. It's the male companion to Queenology. I was teaching from it, and at a certain point I started talking about some kind of way I got off on the subject of women choosing the way women choose men. And we dealt with the reality that a lot of times women are getting the wrong man because the reality is that they're choosing the wrong man. And you're constantly, most of the people that watch me are female, you're constantly searching for the wrong man. And then you make angry statements like, and I know you might get mad with me saying that, but I mean, I just got to tell it like it is. You make angry statements like, all men are dogs, but at the same time, you watch everything I teach. You go over and you watch your brother like Tony Gaskins. You watch everything he teaches. And then you say, all men are dogs. Well, if all men are dogs, why would you even be here watching me? Why would you even be subscribed to my channel? If all men are dogs, why would you even go to Tony Gaskins' channel if all men were dogs? It's clear that you understand that all men are not dogs. The reality is you keep getting dogs because you keep choosing dogs. Now, you don't want to face that reality, and you don't want to accept that responsibility. You'd rather just throw it up to, well, I keep flunking in terms of my relationships because all men are dogs. Not so. All men are not dogs. I'm not a dog. And I know a lot of men that are not dogs. But most of the women who keep getting dogs keep choosing the same breed. And so this was inspired from that. Why do you keep getting the wrong man? And there are a few things that I cannot see that name, Nurse Mo, I think it was. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. If I pause and do that, you all just, you just got to accept that. People are kind to you. I'm from the South. When people are kind to you and they sow into your life or do anything nice, you're supposed to stop and recognize that. If I don't recognize it, it's because I don't see it. And so, that's just the way that goes with me. Why do you keep getting the wrong man? Well, there are a few reasons that I've outlined here today. But now let's define what the wrong man looks like. Let's define what the wrong man looks like. The wrong man is any man that does not live his life in a way that you don't have to check up on him. You don't have to go through his phone. Or if you're going through his phone all the time, you feel a need to go through his phone all the time, he's the wrong man. Either he's the wrong man or you just so broken you ain't ready, you're not really ready for a relationship. Thank you, Lynn. The wrong man is any grown man that is not looking for a wife. And I'll say that again. The wrong man is any so-called grown man that's not looking for a wife. He's just looking for a girlfriend. He want to do everything that husbands do. He want to have sex. He want food. He want his clothes washed, but he don't want no wife. He doesn't want to marry you, and he just tying your life up year after year after year, and you just constantly sitting there. You've developed this soul tie with this man, and you giving him all of these wife privileges, and he hadn't stepped up to the plate as a husband. He's the wrong man. I don't care nothing about he go to church, he love God, and he got a good job, he make good money, and he handsome. If he not trying to be a husband, and if he not trying to make you a wife, he's the wrong man. And you supposed to move on from him because he's a time waster. He's what you call a life waster. You see, that's the wrong man. Any man that you can't trust, any man whose character is so shaky that you got to check up behind him. Thank you, Lori. Any man that wants to go out, want to go to dinner, want to go to bed and have a whole lot of sex and everything, but doesn't want to go to the altar, wrong man. Wrong man. But why do you keep getting this? Because you get rid of this one, and then you go and we watch you. You go and you go right around the corner, and you come back with the same kind of dude, just in a different pair of tennis shoes. Why? Well, number one, you're choosing projects. Why do I keep getting the wrong man, Pastor? Thank you, Veretta. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. You're choosing projects. Most of y'all keep ending up with the wrong man because you're choosing projects. And what's a project? A project is, it's like the little store they have in the malls when the malls are open, when we're not in a pandemic. They got this little store they call Build-A-Bear where you can go. Thank you. Oh my goodness, y'all coming in so fast. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Desher. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You got this store called Build-A-Bear where you go and you build a little bear, I think, and you can put the voice on there for the child and all that. And you build a little bear the way I think you want it to look or whatever, something like that. Well, a lot of y'all, that's the way you do your men. You choose a project. You choose a little man that you got to put him together, And I'm not talking about help him, because the woman is designed to help the man, but you choose men that don't even have the fundamental components of manhood. And you feel like you can bring him home and you can work on him, and you feel like you can put things in him like respect, faithfulness, work ethic. If he don't have that in him already, he's not a man. And you can't take a project. You can't take a male project and think you're gonna mold him into a man like you're God. You're not God. If God doesn't make him a man, thank you, Morgan. Thank you so much. If God has not made him a man, if his mama couldn't make him a man, What makes you think you're going to be able to bring him home and do something different with him than God and his mama have done? You're choosing projects. See, a man, a real man, and see, y'all keep doing that. And I'm going to tell you why you're doing it in a minute. A real man has to be enough when you meet him, watch this, to accommodate you. Monique, did I say it right? Monique Aradini. I hope I said that name right. I know I messed it up. Forgive me. A real man has to be enough to accommodate you when you meet him. You can't choose a man. Watch this. You can't choose a man and then you have to make him a man or make him man enough for you after you get him home. You can't go and choose a man off the block and then bring him home and think that as a woman, you're going to have some supernatural power that you can make him man enough for you. You got you a project. Thank you, Iris. You got a project. No. Because the first thing that's going to happen with that is that once the little infatuation wears off, you're going to discover you ain't got no respect for him. Latrell, thank you so much. You ain't got no respect for him. If he doesn't come with all of the necessary components of manhood to the table, he's the wrong man. And what many of you are doing, you're constantly going and you're choosing projects. Now, let me show you something in Proverbs 31. You know, I like to take all of my stuff as much as I can and relate it to Scripture. In Proverbs 31, verses 10 through 12, it says, who can find a virtuous woman? Who can find a virtuous woman? This thing is moving so fast. Thank you, Ariane. I love you. God bless you. Thank you. Okay, who can find a virtuous woman? Watch this. For her price, underline that word right there. For her price is far above rubies. Now watch what the next verses say. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. Now watch this. This is what I saw when I read this. Let's see. Y'all moving so fast. Thank you, Brave Bird. I like that name, Brave Bird. Hallelujah. Watch this. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. Let's stop right there. Number one, if he's man enough. Thank you, Naja. I guess y'all see how bad my eyes are, huh? For her price, who can find the blessed golden gal? Thank you so much. I think I saw you before. Thank you so much. Who can find a virtuous woman? Number one, watch this. When I read that, for those of you that, go and create all of these projects, number one, first mistake you're making is that you're out in the streets hunting for a man. When the Bible says a man that is worthy of you has the ability to find you. He has the ability to identify you, in other words. Thank you, Felisa, I think it is. He has the ability to locate you. Who can find a virtuous woman? He has, number one, the ability to locate you. So he recognizes the value that you are when he sees you. You don't have to sell yourself to him. And the second thing, watch this, the Bible says her price is far above rubies. A man that is worthy of you recognizes you, and he has the capacity to pay the price for you. He's not a man that you got to bring home and try to put together. He's a man that has the fundamental capacity or the fundamental elements of manhood within him. He's able to recognize you and he's able to pay your price. Now watch this. And then after the Bible says he finds her, and after the Bible says he's able to pay the price for her, which is far above rubies, then the Bible goes on to say the heart of her husband He's not a man that's looking to be a boyfriend. He's looking to be a husband, safely trusting his wife so that he will have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. Now watch this. He didn't get wife benefits until he recognized her, paid the price, and made her his wife. There are many of you all that's bringing a little boy home thinking you're going to turn him into a man that's going to ultimately be able to pay the price. Thank you so much, lovely preach 40, I think it is. Peach. I'm sorry. Lord have mercy. Thank you, sweetheart. Are y'all catching this? I know a lot. I'm stopping a lot, but are y'all catching this? He's able to recognize her, pay the price. He becomes her husband, and then he gets all of the wifey benefits. Many of you who are searching for these projects, you're giving away all of the wifey benefits before the dude has paid the price, and he's not even proven to you that he recognizes the value that you are. Thank you, Tia. And you're giving away all of these wifey benefits to this project because you think you can build a bear. You think you can build a man. You think you can build a husband. If he ain't a husband when he finds you, you can't make him one. And see, a man that is worthy of you is a man that comes to the table saying, now, you know, I'm looking for a wife. I'm not looking for no one night stand. I'm not looking for no girlfriend. I'm looking for a woman that's going to be my wife. I need a wife. I'm not looking to play no games. I'm not out here trying to run these streets with no bunch of women. I'm looking for somebody I can build a kingdom with. I'm a king and every king needs a queen. And that's what I'm looking for. If he don't have that mentality, you keep choosing these projects because you think you can take them from their mama house. You can take them off the corner. You think because you put a suit on him, you bring him down there and you buy a suit for him that you can turn him in. Number two, why do you keep getting the same kind of wrong dude? Number one, you choose projects all the time. Number two, you choose out of your subconscious low self-esteem. You're choosing men based on low self-esteem. And y'all know what I teach all the time in Queenology. I talk about the woman's broken consciousness. And if you've not heard my teachings on Queenology, or you've not read my books, or if you've not bought my online program for Queenology, Broken Consciousness is where society, from religion to academia, intentionally breaks the woman's self-consciousness so that she cannot see herself the way the Creator designed her. Every woman is born and ordained by the Creator to be a queen in the earth. When the Bible in Genesis talks about God gave them dominion, that's a royal decree that God gave them authority and power to dominate. Every woman by the Creator's standard is a queen. Some people try to kick against that, but you can't kick against that. Every woman was created alongside the man to reign in the earth as kings and queens. But society robs the woman of that queen consciousness so that society, which is a perverted male-dominated society, may manipulate the woman, because if she doesn't know who she is, I can make her whatever I want her to be. It's the conscious woman that society is fearful of. And so when the woman's consciousness is broken, she chooses men out of her subconscious low self-esteem. You will always land on what you actually believe you deserve. So if you don't actually believe that you deserve a king, you know what will happen? A king will walk into your life and you will find a way to sabotage it. Because you don't actually believe you deserve that. A king can present himself to you and have great interest in you, and you will ignore that because you don't actually believe you deserve that. And you move right on around the corner and you pick old homeboy up off of the block and you bring him home and you're going to build you a man. You're choosing out of your subconscious low self-esteem, and as a consequence, you're choosing beneath yourself. You're choosing men that are inferior. And when I say inferior, it doesn't mean that you're better than them, but it means that they don't match your destiny. And you keep getting hurt because it's the unequal yoke the Bible talks about It's like the stallion yoked up to the donkey. It's going to hurt because they're not equivalent. The stride is not the same. The height is not the same. The strength is not the same. You can't yoke those two together because they don't go together. And that's why every relationship you've had has hurt so bad. You keep choosing out of your subconscious low self-esteem, but it does not measure up to your actual stature. So you really, watch this, may need to do something that you haven't done for most of your adult life. You may need to take a chill pill on the relationship stuff until you get your mind right. Look what the Bible says in Matthew 7:6. And this is what happens when a woman is choosing relationships out of broken consciousness or out of a subconscious low self-esteem. In Matthew 7:6, it says, "Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine." See, you got to read the Bible for the principles. You got to see the life principles in the Bible. The Bible is a book filled with principles for living effectively. And he says, "Give not that which is holy unto the dogs. Neither cast ye your pearls," or your best stuff, your most valuable stuff, "before swine," because they're going to trample it under their feet. And then they're going to turn around and run over you. Thank you, Bri. Or Bri, I don't know if I'm saying it right. But when you're choosing out of your subconscious low self-esteem, you find yourself giving your best to the dogs. You find yourself throwing your pearls to swine, and they just stump them into the mud. They don't have no appreciation for the value. Why? Because little boys don't appreciate value. Only grown men do. See, when you meet a grown man, you don't have to convince him of your value. Grown men recognize value. I have my grandsons. I have three grandsons, but one of them in particularly, Austin. He's the middle one. I think Austin's about 6 years old, something like that. Well, I wouldn't take Austin and give Austin, a 4-carat diamond solitaire to play with, because he's a little boy. He don't have no appreciation for that. That's a marble to him. He'll bring it out there in the grass and lose it, because little boys don't understand value. It doesn't matter how much you sit there and tell him about it's worth this amount, and make sure you don't do nothing crazy with it now. Well, you foolish for putting that in his hands, because you should have recognized this is a little boy, and little boys don't recognize value. It takes a grown man to recognize value. And so when you're choosing out of your subconscious low self-esteem, what you're doing is you're taking yourself, which is the greatest value, and you're putting yourself, trusting yourself in the hands of a little or grown boy who does not have the capacity within himself to recognize the value that you are. This is why he mishandles you and mistreats you every time. And then you come back from that experience with a whole lot of trauma, and you create a whole lot of drama in the next relationship, because you put yourself in the hands of somebody that was not mature enough or developed enough to know how to handle you. Number 3, I won't be much longer. You choose, okay, now here's a big one right here. Why you keep ending up with the wrong dude? You choose, or you're choosing out of desperation for a child. Let's see. Oh, Lord, let me see something here. Okay, we got Loyal to Self Goddess. Thank you. And we got Latanya. Thank you all so much. Man, I appreciate you all tonight. You're choosing out of desperation for a child. You'd be amazed at how, and you probably won't, because y'all have the conversations. Be amazed at how many women just jump into relationships because they want a baby. Well, I appreciate that. I have 4. I have 4 biological children. I don't know, God knows how many spiritual kids I have. But I have to say this to you, there are a whole lot of other things that should be a priority to you, that should keep you preoccupied before you get to, I want to have a baby. And if if you don't have the relationship, you shouldn't obsess over having a baby. I mean, there are children that need to be adopted. If you just got to have a child. There are children that need to be adopted. Now you got not the in vitro, but where they, you know, do the thing and you can, do whatever. I'd rather, some people against that, but I'd much rather see you do that than go out here with some bogus relationship with somebody that you don't know if they off their rocker or not, making a baby, and then you got to spend the rest of your life dealing with this individual that you don't have a clue where their head is, and then y'all got to also understand that genetics are real. Whoever seeds your child gonna be in your child. I'm going to say that one more time. Genetics are real. Whoever seeds your child will be in your child. So if you're looking across the room at a dude you don't like, the last thing you want to do is carry his spawn. Because you may get more than you bargained for. Thank you, Carol. But a lot of women are choosing the wrong man out of desperation for a child. They want a baby so bad. You want a baby so bad. And you may end up with a baby daddy who's not even capable of being a father. So now you have a baby for him. He won't pay child support. He won't show up to father the child. Now you got a seed in the world that doesn't have a father. So now you got an angry seed. And then you may start seeing some of the spirit that's in the dude you so desperately pursued to make the baby with. Now you may start seeing that stuff develop in the child. Now you're trying to figure out, what kind of son do I have here? What kind of daughter do I have here? All because you were desperate for a child, and therefore you went and chose bad. And then number 4, you make your choice out of lust. You keep making your choices out of lust. And see, now this is something here, y'all might start chiming out on me on this one. But there are too many of you all that are making major relational decisions out of lust. You're not thinking about this dude's spirit. You're not trying to figure out if this dude knows God, if he has any kind of personal relationship with God. You don't know where this dude's head is. He may be a complete imbecile. You haven't even checked out his head. You don't know where his soul is. You don't know what kind of intellect he has, because y'all ain't really had no conversation like that. All y'all been doing is between the sheets. And so you just full of lust right now. You just full of lust. And that lust has driven you mad. And see what lust does to you. Lust makes you look over all of the danger. You just ignore all of the danger. Flags waving everywhere. Thank you. Let me see if I can read that. Neve. I think I said it right. Thank you. I think I said it right. Lust makes you ignore all the red flags. Lust makes you ignore the fact that the police have been to your apartment 4 times in the last 2 months. Lust makes you ignore the fact that you're getting beat upside your head. You're just full of lust. The devil got you so far out of the spirit. You so far out of the spirit. You so far out of your right mind. You just driven by lust. Something about this dude, this soul tie you've created, that just got your mind completely gone. You have been pimped. And now you just driven by this lust. And I'm not talking about just no women that we say in the world. I'm talking about you church girls too. Get up in these churches and you have these relationships. These are ungodly, bogus relationships with these church boys who are some of the most ungodly people in the world. And you develop all of these soul ties, and now you just driven by this lust. This dude bring you and do all of this stuff to you. Yvonne, I think I said it right. Do all of this stuff to you, all this old freaky stuff, and just change your settings completely. And now you can't hear God. You can't hear the counsel of your mother. You can't hear the counsel of your friends. You don't hear the counsel of your pastor because now you just driven by lust and you keep choosing dudes out of your lust. That's why you keep ignoring good dudes and you keep coming back talking about all men are dogs. You keep choosing dogs. You have some good men that are in pursuit of you, but they ain't tall enough. See, you're vain. You're full of flesh. You're full of flesh. You haven't really talked to God in a while. You haven't really checked in with your common sense in a little while. And you keep on making these decisions for these dudes based on their sex appeal. Where he lick his lips. I like the way he lick his lips like LL Cool J. He got the color of Idris Elba and all this kind of foolish stuff here. And you haven't one time told me nothing about the heart of this man. And so you keep on making relational decisions based on lust, and you keep on getting the fruit of that lust. And then you won't fill my email box up with all of this stuff about what you're getting. But it ain't what you're getting. It's not the fruit, it's the root. And the root comes from the seed. Where did you start? If you start in that lust, where you think you're going to end? And look what the Bible says in 1 John 2:16 and 17. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world, watch this, here it is. He says, lust is of the world, not of the Father. He says, and the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that does the will of God abides forever. That little stuff you doing in the bed and all that, that ain't gonna last. That ain't gonna last. You can't build no relationship off no lust. Hey, Dwight, it's good to see you, baby. Thank you. You can't build no relationship off of lust because that, sex, I know everybody, initially when y'all, when you don't have, everybody want what they don't have. But when you sleep with somebody every night and you got access to that all the time, that gets old real fast because you start realizing sex ain't paying no bills. Or at least in most situations, it ain't paying no bills. Sex ain't paying no bills. Sex ain't making no progress. Sex is not raising no children. Beautiful Empress, thank you. Sex is not advancing us. Sex ain't buying no houses. And once you have access to that, and you done maybe you ain't created no marriage. You just went to the altar and created you some wedlock. Where you locked down in a situation that you really wish you could get out of, but that lust deceived you and floated your happy self right on down into the altar. I do. And then you get home and you sign them papers and you got what you asked for. Now you come to your good mind, your right mind, and now you realize you got a dummy over here. Patricia, thank you. Thank you so much. I got a dummy over here. This boy can't think himself out of a wet paper bag. He can't pay no bills. He's not a critical thinker. He can't help me, think my way through nothing. I got some tax issues here. I can't even have no conversation with him. All I got over here is a big old sex machine. Thank you, Carol. And boy, when you in a situation as a woman and you got problems and you need a man that can think like a king, and all you got is a big old dumb sex machine, big old handsome sex machine. Thank you, Tammy. Boy, you talk about disgusting. And if you're a king and man, you got a old dumb woman that can't, you run up on some stuff and you can't, all she doing is popping that gum and polishing her nails and all this, got all this Vaseline all over her lips and everything. Can't go nowhere with that. So you're making your choice out of lust. You keep making choices out of lust. You keep getting good looking dudes, but they watch this. They are all style and no substance. And then the thing y'all don't understand, just keep on living a little while. Keep on living. That six pack gonna turn into a keg in a little while. That beautiful wavy hair he got. See that right there? It's gonna go to that right there. But you got to just kind of move it. Move it around, you see, till it even out a little bit. It's gonna go to that. You see, I've been quarantined. I ain't been able to get to the people. Look at all that white coming up out there. It's going to that, babe. All that jet black hair. That ain't gonna stay like that. Southern Sea. I think I'm saying it right. Ain't gonna stay like that. Thank you. And what you gonna be left with? When the sex gets old, when the body gets older and tired, and he doesn't have the energy, and nobody really has the desire for all of that, what's going to be y'all's common interest? Amina, thank you. But you keep on choosing these relationships out of lust. And then what's sadder, and I know I'm going to make some of y'all mad, is when you older and you still doing the same thing. What you mean by older, Bishop? You past 35 and you haven't changed your mind, something wrong with you. You should be thinking on a whole different level now. You should be looking for a man that has spirit and brains and resources. You past 35, you don't even need no broke man. You need a man that got some spirit, some brains, and some money. He may not be rich, but he needs to have a work ethic. He needs to be responsible. He needs to have some credit of his own. You shouldn't have to co-sign nothing for him. And then if he comes in a package that you appreciate, God bless. Denise, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Now let me finish this before I get in trouble tonight. You're choosing before you even know who you are. That's the fifth and final point. Why do you keep getting the wrong dude? You're choosing before you even know who you are. Most of y'all haven't done any self-exploration. What you did was you got out of high school, you went to college, and they told you that you need a man, and you've been developing soul ties ever since college or maybe even high school. And what soul ties do is soul ties consume you so much that you never really take the time to discover who you are, your purpose, your reason for existing. And you don't know who you are, but yet you're out here trying to pair yourself with someone else. How do you know who belongs in your life if you don't know who you are? And you choosing before you know who you are, or watch this, or where you're going. See, I was talking to one of my spiritual daughters, and she reminded me of it the other day. What is this? I know the last part, Barrett. Thank you so much. She reminded me of it the other day, and this is a powerful and true statement. You choose somebody to marry, entrepreneur journey, I think it may say. Thank you so much. You choose someone to marry based on your future, not your present. When I made a decision to marry Lisa and she accepted, I was thinking about my future. I wasn't thinking about my present. I was thinking about my future. You have to choose your mate based on how does this person fit into my preferred future. Now watch this. How can you choose that person if you don't have a vision of what that preferred future looks like? And so when you choose a man, before you know who you are or where you're going, it's like choosing socks in the dark. I remember no joke. This may sound funny to y'all, but it actually happened. I'm always in New Orleans on Sundays when things are normal. I start out in New Orleans on Sunday. I do 2 services in New Orleans, and then I catch the plane. I go and do my final service at our Houston church. My wife is in Houston. So I start out in New Orleans. I don't have my wife. I'm here by myself. And so one Sunday, I get up and I get dressed. You know, it's early in the morning when I wake up, and usually it's dark, like 5 something in the morning. I wake up to start getting ready. I get to church. I go through 2 services in New Orleans. I get on the plane. I get to Houston, And my wife looks at me and she's like laughing and shaking her head. And so after church, I'm like, what was that about? What you laughing at me? She said, man, look at your feet. I looked at my feet and I realized that I had worn two different shoes. Two totally different shoes. One shoe was a Gucci. The other shoe came from, what's the big famous shoe place? They have them all over the country, cheaper shoes. I had on two different, they were similar, but there was two different shoes. I chose those shoes in the dark. When you don't know where you're going, you're choosing in the dark. Another Sunday. I'm showing y'all I'm aging now. I get up, I put my blue suit on, boy. I know I'm clean. I said, I know I'm clean. I go through all of New Orleans. I get to Houston, my wife looking at me, she laughing. And she said, man, you got on one jacket to one suit. You got on the pants from another suit. What are you doing in New Orleans, man? And I looked and I realized, I said, man, I done went all day in front of all them people with the wrong jacket, with the wrong pant on. But I got dressed in the dark. When you don't know where you're going, that is a depiction of what you're doing with your relationships. The Bible says in Amos 3:3. Oh, I feel like preaching here now. Boy, I feel like preaching now. If I had an organ, I'd go on in for y'all. Some of y'all don't know about that because you don't go to church. I'd show you if I had an organ today. Amos 3:3 says, can two walk together except they be agreed? Now, how do they know they agree? They got to have a conversation. There has to be a meeting of the minds. We don't know if we can walk together until we can have a meeting of the minds and then conclude that we're on the same page internally so we can go in the same direction externally. Can two walk together except they be agreed? Thank you, Denise. You see, so you're getting the wrong man because you're choosing before you know where you're going. Y'all stay with me for just a minute. I'm done actually, but I want to see if I can find something I want to play for you. But these things are the kinds of things that are creating havoc in the woman's life relationally. I'm trying to find the song. We still haven't released the song. I'm trying to get with Dave Hollister, who wrote and performed the song for my Queenology movement. The title of the song is She. And it speaks to, let's see if this is it. Okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to get it. It speaks to the empowerment of women. And no, I'm not going to be able to get it. I'm sorry, I'll play it for y'all next time. But it's a powerful song. It's the theme song for my movement, Queenology. I'll get it and I'll play it for you next time I'm on with you. But I hope you got something out of this tonight. Now, let me pray for you. Father, I thank you for wisdom. I thank you for discretion. I thank you for the guidance of the Spirit. I thank you for discernment. And God, I thank you for, watch this, the spirit of self-forgiveness. I bind the spirit of guilt and shame tonight because there's no room for it. All of us have sinned. All of us have erred. All of us have made mistakes. And so now, God, I ask you to purge and cleanse tonight and allow your daughters to regroup, to restart, to renew. And God, I thank you for the spirit of restoration tonight. In Jesus' name, that they will not make the same mistakes. In Jesus' name, but the spirit of wisdom will rest upon them. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen. Now listen, I don't know if you all know it, but I've been very productive while I've been in this quarantine. I released my book, Kingology. I'm finishing my next book on my perspectives on narcissism from a biblical point of view. I may actually finish that this week. I don't know if I won't release it as soon. Thank you, Stacy. And I also, but this is the part I want to tell you about. I also finished, you all have asked me for it, and I finished it. I finished the online program for soul ties. If you got the book or you watch the videos, well, now there's an 8-part online program for soul ties. And the way the online program thing works is you go to my website. It's a one-time purchase. It's $49, and you have access to it for the rest of your life. You can move at your own pace and, go in and out, if you will. Some people get in, they go straight through it, and one lady sent me an email today, says she's going back through Queenology. We have the online course for Queenology, the online course now for soul ties, the online course for transcending the father wound. We have the online course for women in ministry. And all of these are courses that are programs that you gain access to. You have your own, password. You get in and out when you want and move at your own pace. And it's you and I, it's me sitting and talking directly. And I've got nothing but rave reviews over it. It's available now. We put it up this week on the website at rscblakes.com. Thank you, The Weaver. Thank you so much. Now, you all have asked me for it. I'm producing this stuff. Now I need you to support it. I need you to go and support it. It's on the website now. And while we're down, the Lord told me to just, basically put the price where I can make enough money to take care of the people that are part of my team and help me to do the things that I do. So we've made I think Transcending the Father Wound is $49, Queenology is $49, Soul Ties is $49, and Women in Ministry, I think, is $39, if I'm not mistaken. So we've slashed everything. While you're sitting down and we're quarantined, you need to be working on you, right? And also, along the lines of Soul Ties, we just finished the study guide for Soul Ties. Thank you, Lynn. And the study guide for Soul Ties will be coming out very soon. It's going through the editing process now, and very soon we'll be releasing the study guide for Soul Ties, study guide for Soul Ties. Those of you that have Queenology, father-daughter talk, you know how the study guide thing works. And so we're just trying to be extremely productive. And I appreciate you all. Thank you for all of your support. Now, I want you all to stay glued. I'll put a link in the description. We're actually building out a cyber church that is going to launch soon. Thank you, Rhonda. And many of you have said to me, well, Pastor, I feel like you are my pastor. And I've tried to steer you in other directions, tried to steer many of you to local churches, but to no avail. And so the Lord told me before even this pandemic to organize a cyber church. And you'll actually be a member. You're going to go through new members classes and all of that kind of thing. You're going to have all kinds of groups inside of there. I'll be your pastor. You'll be an official part. That's for those of you that want the spiritual component. You'll be an official member of New Home Family Worship Center, and I'll be your pastor. You won't get married. You won't come to New Orleans. Your pastor will be there to marry you, or one of the pastoral staff members. You want to get baptized. You come to New Orleans or Houston. Your pastor will baptize you. Yeah. So I'm going to put a link in there for those of you that have interest, because when it launches, I'm going to film the new members courses or the new members classes this week. They're going to upload that, and you'll get information as we get closer to launching. So we have a lot going on and just trying to be extremely productive. I think that's all I need to talk about. Thank you all so much. If you need to reach out to Lisa and or myself, you can do that at pastorrcblakes@gmail.com. Also, don't forget to sign up for my mailing list at pastorrcblakes@gmail.com. Just go there, and it's on the front page, mailing list. Hit the link. It's going to take 5 seconds. Sign up for my mailing list so you know when things are happening, moves that are being made, all of that, And so I think that's it. I love you all. I appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out with me and helping me to use my quarantine time productively. And you may see me again tomorrow night, because I got some other stuff I want to talk about. All right. I love you. Have a great one now. And know that Lisa and I are praying for you. And thank God for all of you that sold into my life tonight. I appreciate it. I don't take it lightly. Thank you so much. Talk to you all real soon. Have a great one now. Share this on your social media pages. God bless you.